In this lesson, we are going to solve equations. So we're going to find out what x equals what y equals with variables using the distributive property. Remember that the distributive property is when you go, like if you have a times b plus c, you go a times b and a times c. So in this first example, it says -5 times -2x plus 4 minus x equals 40. Now one of the problems is that we have x inside of this parentheses and outside of this parentheses. So let's get this x out of this parentheses using the distributive property. So we do -5 times -2x, which is positive 10x. -5 times positive 4, which is -20. And I am done. If you prefer to see the groups, that was our first group. Let's try that a little nicer. That was our first group, and this is our second group. So we multiplied in our first group. We rewrote it using the distributive property. Now I'm just going to bring down minus x equals 40. Now let's combine like terms. 10x minus x is 9x because that's a 1x. And then minus 20 equals 40. So if it helps you, I'm going to write the order of my operations here. So x times 9 minus 20 gave me 40. So I need to add 20 to both sides. And you get 9x equals, oh, that goes away. 9x equals 60. And then we are going to divide by 9. Because that's the inverse of times 9. And x equals, this one I'll have to do with a calculator. 60 divided by 9 is, 6.66 repeating. Okay, let's look at example number 2. We have 3 times parentheses x plus 1, close parentheses, minus 2 parentheses 2x plus 8 equals 50. If it helps, I would make my groups first because x is in 2 different spots and it is inside of parentheses in both. So 3 times x is 3x. I'm just going to write that a little this way, 3x. And 3 positive times a positive is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3. Done with that first group. The second group, I'm going to put a 1 here to help me out. A negative times a positive is a negative 2x. A negative times a positive is a negative. So negative 8 equals 50. Let's combine like terms. 3x minus 2x is 1x. And plus 3 minus 8 is minus 5, and we get 50. Order of operations would be x. We multiply by 1 if you care. Remember, we can just make that go away if you prefer. And then we subtracted 5, and we got 50. So we need to go into we need to use inverse operations going backwards. So instead of minus 5, we need to add 5. And we get 1x equals 55. Now, if you left that 1 on there, you would have to do the inverse, which is divide by 1. But if you notice, if it's just 1, because the 1's always there, then it doesn't really change your answer. X was 55. Let's go ahead and do one more example. So the first thing I would do is group again. So 10 times x plus 3 minus -9x minus 4 minus x equals -2. So 10 times x is 10x. A positive times a positive here would be a positive, a 30. Right here, I'm going to add a 1 to help me. So a negative times a negative is a positive, 9x. And a negative times a negative is a positive again, 4. And I'm going to bring this minus x down. That should give me negative 2. Let's combine like terms, 10x and 9x and minus x. If you prefer to put a 1, put a 1. So 10 plus 9 is 19. And 19 minus 1 is 18. 18x. So 30 plus 4. Yeah, that's it. 30 plus 4 is 34. And that should give me a negative 2. So I started off with x multiplied by 18. I added 34. And I got negative 2. So I need to do inverse operations going backwards. So instead of plus 34, minus 34. So 18x equals negative 36. It's negative 2 minus 34. And then I'm going to divide by 18. And I get x, well, divide because that's the inverse of multiply. And we get x equals negative divided by positive is a negative. 36 divided by 18 is 2. So x is negative 2. I'm going to graph my solution. So negative 2, I just like to put it right there. Negative 3. And negative 1. So in order for the equation, our original one, to be true, the variable must be negative 2, or it has a value of negative 2, really. If the variable is not negative 2, then the equation will be false. So let's go ahead and try it. It's not going to be fun because there's all this, but we can do it. X is negative 2. So 10, instead of x, I'm going to put negative 2 plus 3. And then minus 9 times, minus negative 9 times negative 2 minus 4 minus, remember that minus is in front of the x, but the x is a negative 2, and I should get negative 2. So maybe I could make that like that. Okay. So let's do inside of parentheses first because we're doing PEMDAS as always. So negative 2 plus 3. So that's 10 times 3 minus 2, which is 1, minus, order of operations, I would do this first in this one. So I get 18, and I'm going to put minus 4, because a negative times a negative is a positive, minus negative 2 should equal negative 2. 10 times 1. Well, we have to finish parentheses first. So 18 minus 4 is 14. So I get 10 times 1 minus 14 minus negative 2 should give me negative 2. Let's do our multiplication next. 10 times 1 is 10. We would just do this one next. So negative 10 to positive is a negative 14. And then we would do this one next. Negative times a negative is a positive 2. And that should give me a negative 2. 10 minus 14 is negative 4. And negative 4 plus 2 is in fact negative 2. The problems that you get are not going to be like crazy, like long and complicated like this. I just wanted to show you one because there's so much to show you inside of this problem. So, thank you.